Ladies and gentlemen, Geri Petito.
I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
When you don't know just what to do,
Just what to do, just what to do.
if what you're feeling is really true,
Is it really true? Is it really true?
just keep your ideas safe and sound.
Safe and sound, safe and sound.
That's exactly how change is found.
Change is found, change is found. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. And in time, this too shall pass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Geri Petito taught the class. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. Loves the answer, the greener grass. I'm not an addict, I'm just an ass. One day at a time, free at last.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Geri Petito Show. Everyone and anyone who knows me knows I am the author of I'm Not an Addict, I'm Just an Ass. I'd rather be a smartass than a dumbass. Because, guys, 34 years ago, I was a dumbass. But today, 34 years later, through the grace of God, I can honestly say now I'm a smartass. And yes, the word ass is in the Bible at least 40 times, and it means donkey, and that's what I was. I'm saying all that to say this. There are a lot of people out there struggling, even with health issues. I'm a nutritional health coach. I'm a recovery coach. All my services to you are free. Please, please reach out. I want everyone to know that someone is listening. If you think my book can help someone, because I sure do, you can go right to Simon & Schuster's bookstore, Archway Publishing, BAM, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can go to my website, www.geripetito.com. Guys, my book is now on audio with my voice. Simon & Schuster wanted to do it, but with someone else's voice. I said absolutely not. So my producer, Ruben Rodriguez, part owner of Hamilton Radio and owner of Iron Horse Films, is now doing audiobooks. So if any authors out there are interested, please, please reach out. So guys, listen, if you truly, truly, truly cannot afford my book, please reach out to me about that as well. I'm here to help you. Before I introduce my incredible guest, I want to give a shout out to a few of my sponsors today. First, I've got John Bishop, a.k.a. Johnny B., singer, songwriter, host of the Entertainment Luncheon South, a nonprofit created for the creative. He's also a partner in the Joey D and Johnny B Rock and Oldies band, and he's also solo. But today is his birthday. So everybody scream happy birthday to Johnny B, baby, okay? And I got to give another shout out to him and his wife, Linny, for what they do once a month with this luncheon. Okay, it's $20. It's by invite only. You have a great lunch. You have incredible entertainment, and they don't keep a penny of it. And they promote all of us like nobody else does. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. And again, happy birthday, baby. Then I've got Stormin Norman Selden, 732-245-4777, www.storminnormanselden.com. Booking dozens of attractions for concerts and performances on venues of all sizes. So he's got from a 5 to 12-piece band. He is a beast on keyboard. He's been live in studio several times, and he really, truly is a beast. And he also is now offering lessons at people's homes. And a lot of people don't know this, but he helped get Larry Chance from the Earl started back in the day. And you know, Larry was like family, and Larry, we all love and miss you. And I know you are singing in heaven with Elvis, baby. So rest in peace, Larry. Then we've got Michael D'Amore, singer, songwriter, performer, entertainer, www.michaeldamore.com. So guys, anyone and everyone who knows me knows I'm a huge oldies, doo-wop, and Elvis fan. I am probably one of the biggest Elvis fans out there, okay? And I don't say this lightly. So Elvis is up here, right? Nobody can touch Elvis, right? But Michael does come pretty close with that voice. Michael's range is off the charts, but he did get kicked down a notch. Reuben Carter's above him. I was interviewing Reuben, and I said, "Okay, so we're gonna knock Michael down a notch, okay?" And it was so much fun. So then we've got John Monforto, the man of many faces, singer, actor, celebrity impersonator, and tribute artist. I gave him the title, the man of many faces, because he does over 30 and incredible. But he was given the title by a former Philadelphia mayor as the official Philadelphia Rocky impersonator. Okay? And he is Rocky, guys. www.johnmonforto.com. So, my three favorites, of course, Rocky, of course, The Godfather, and of course, Elvis, baby. So, last but certainly not least, Michael Zanman, singer, entertainer, performer. www.mzanman.com. So now that it's out there, everyone, please keep Michael Zanman in prayer. His cancer is back. All right? So he is an incredible entertainer, and I want to share a really cool little story about my Michael. So about a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago, whatever it's been, he recorded "Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me" by Mel Carter and put it out on Facebook. So he didn't know it, but I sent it to my buddy Mel. Mel calls me and says, "Jerry, your boy did a great job with my song." I said, "Can you tell him?" We got him on a surprise three-way. Okay, and Mel told him what a great job he did with his song. Can you imagine that? That would be like Elvis calling me, man. I'm just saying, honey. So, having said all that, now it's time for me to introduce my really amazing, cool, legendary guest, and I could not wait for this interview at all. Stan Zizka, say hello.
Hi, how are you, Jerry? Great
I,
to see you.
I'm on cloud nine because I could not wait for this interview, and I am very proud to say that I was the first person to order this book. Okay, you even said, "Not yet, Jared, wait a couple days." I said, "Nope, too late," and I got it. So, not
Well,
only did I order
thank
this
you.
immediately, I read it twice, and we have a lot to talk about. It's called Still Wanderin'. But before we talk about your book, we need to talk about you, and we need to talk about who you are. So I want you to take the mic and tell everyone about Stan Zizka, please.
Well, my name is Stan Zizka, and I am the original lead singer of the Dale Satins, the group that you hear on most of Dion's recordings after he left the Belmonts. We were hired to do all of his background vocals. I've done songs like Run Around Sue, The Wanderer, Ruby Baby. I think we had 9 or 10 major hits with Dion and 3 albums. So it's been a great ride. Like my book says, what a ride. And I'm still doing it and I love it.
So talk a little bit about you working with Dion.
Working with Dion was something that 5 kids off the street working with a major star. Dion and the Belmonts were rock and roll. I Wonder Why was like the rock and roll song that everyone learned. If you were in a doo-wop group, you sang that song. And Dion and the Belmonts, they broke up. We were on Lawyer Records at the time, and our manager Jim Gribble asked us. He said, "Would you like to audition for Dion? He's looking for a backbone vocal group to record with him." We went up to Lawyer Records and we sang a half of a song, and Dion stopped us and said, "That's it. I'd like you to record with me." And so the next day we went to his house and we learned all these crazy background things like "Hape, hape, hape, the hater, hater, hape." And we were a vocal group that idolized all the black groups in Harlem. So we were harmony oriented, but he wanted us to sing the background in unison, which is one note with everybody on it. And back then, there was no pitch correction or anything like that. You didn't punch in. You had the studio band in the room, and you did it. If there was a mistake, well, then you stopped and you did it again and just kept doing it until it was right. And it was a great experience with Dion.
Where was it located? Where was his studio? Like, where were you guys doing this?
On 26th Street was RCA Studios, and that's where Laurie Records did their records. They did the Dion records anyway.
Okay. So now,
It was,
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No,
Let
keep
me,
talking.
my phone was ringing. I had to stop it. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay. That's okay.
Well, now where were we?
So where was it exactly?
It was on 26th Street, between Lexington and Third Avenue
Oh,
in
okay.
Manhattan.
In Manhattan, okay, not the Bronx.
No,
Okay, okay.
no, I'm not from the Bronx.
No, no,
Dion was
no.
from the Bronx.
Right, so that's why you said you went to his studio. His studio wasn't in the Bronx?
No, the studio was in Manhattan.
Gotcha. Okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay. So that's very cool. Um, so let's come forward now real quick for a minute. Now, today, tell everybody who you're singing with.
Today I'm singing with, I have the Del Satins, a 7-piece group, with Edie Van Buren, Charlie Aiello, who they've been with me for many years. Tom Ferrara, the original bass singer, Emil, Emil Fornatoro, Tony Curcio is our drummer. Joe Wyman is our guitar player. He's also a co-writer of a song that we'll talk about later. That's really exciting. And that's the Del Satins today, but we also work as Tangerine, which is Charlie Aiello, Edie Van Buren, and myself. And we do the local pubs and local restaurants and have a lot of fun. We work a lot. And Edie and myself, we do the nursing homes and assisted livings. And those people who just love when
Amazing.
we walk in, they
Amazing.
just love it.
You know, Stan, we have some of those places here in Hamilton Township. And pre-COVID, of course, I used to bring in entertainers and Santa Claus in December, you know, singing. And some of these people couldn't even lift their heads. They were in wheelchairs and couldn't talk. As soon as they started singing, they would do this and try to lift their heads. It was amazing. So you're an angel for doing that.
I do excuse me, a veterans home, and their veterans are in there. They have mental issues, they have physical issues. And when we start singing, all those issues kind of disappear on
Yes.
them and they just smile. And there's one man that had no legs. He lost them in the Vietnam War. And when we stop at the end of our show, we sing God Bless America. And he puts his hands on his chair and raises himself up off the chair so he's standing up for the flag. And it makes you want to cry.
Yes.
So if you wake up in the morning and you're not feeling good, go to one of these nursing homes and sing for them and see how much better you feel when you're done.
That's right. That's right. You know, I hurt my back recently, right? And I had to get this back brace. So the doctor sends me to the guy who does the braces, and they sit me in this room waiting for him. So I'm in the room, and I look, and there are prosthetic legs up against the wall. And I said, all
yeah.
right, Lord, I could take this. I could take this, Lord. And then the guy came in, and I said, listen, give me a hug. Are you kidding me? And he hugged me, and, I was like, this is crazy. So, yes, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
And also, while we're on the subject of performing at nursing facilities and assisted livings, we do a lot of the dementia wards. And unfortunately, those people, a lot of them don't remember their names or where they are or why they're there. But once we start singing, for some reason, they remember all the words to the songs. They get up, they start dancing, and they're singing along with you. And it's an experience that I don't know any other that I could say that's better than that.
My dad passed away of Alzheimer's at a very old age. He had a great, incredible life. And I remember having him in the car with me, mid-stage, and he didn't know who I was, but he knew I was someone important to him. And he didn't know anything, but I would turn Italian music on for him, and he would sing the songs. Crazy, right?
Yeah,
It's amazing.
music is
Music saves lives.
music is a cure all.
That's right, saves
Yeah.
lives. You have a little baby, an 8-month-old baby in a bouncy. You put music on, that baby's going to bounce. It's just
Yeah.
innate in us, right? It's
Well, now
amazing.
with AI, they also have the baby singing, so.
Okay, right. Well, that's different. Okay, that's different. So now, what made you want to write your book, Still Wandering?
Doreen Armenio,
Yep.
she was so instrumental in me doing my book. She actually edited for me and took time out of her life for over a year to help me get it to where it is today. And over the years, I liked poetry, and so I would write poetry and just put it away, and I'd have a folder full of poems, and I thought maybe she said you should start doing stuff with your life and explain to people who you are and how you got here. And I started writing it, and I started inserting poems uh, pertaining to each chapter that I wrote about. And so it's an easy read. The chapters are short, but it's all about my life growing up, things that I remember. And thanks to Doreen, the book is out, and her brother Donnie, helped me very much uh, to get it published through Amazon. It's on Amazon for
Okay, yeah.
those of you that would care to read it, and it's an accomplishment of
Amazing.
mine. Makes
Well,
me proud
we
that I
love
could do
Doreen
something
and
like that.
Joey Arminio, Stiletto and Saxman. Love, I love you guys. So,
Yeah.
wow, this is so cool that you helped him with this. So, all right. Still wandering. It's all here. The disappointments, laughter, heartache, struggles, elations, tears, life. It's my life. Stan Zizka, boxer, Iceman, songwriter, singer, poet, Del Satin, Tangerine. What a ride. So I love, love, love the cover of this book. I did not know when I met you that you were a poet. I'm a poet, okay, and I know it. And now, when I started reading this book, again, I read it twice, I couldn't put it down. The first time I read it was just for me loving it. But the second time I read it, I took all my notes, okay?
Ah, okay.
And
By the
so,
way, the cover that you mentioned was designed by a friend of mine. His name is Robert Nemser,
okay,
and he knew I was writing a book. He said to me, "Can I do your cover?" And he did the front cover and the back cover. If you see those little pictures in the back, those are all my good morning pictures that I say good morning on
okay.
Facebook to everyone. And thank you all for saying good morning back.
I was having a conversation with Michael D. and Moore about you a while ago. This was probably a year ago. And we were talking about how if we didn't see a good morning from you on Facebook, we would think something was wrong, and we
Uh-huh.
were, your good mornings are amazing and you send them to us as well. And I love you.
Thank you.
So I want to ask you a couple questions about the cover of your book. So, Boxer, Iceman, tell us about Iceman.
Iceman, I was 14 years old, and there was an ice truck that would come up and down the street every day, a model ice truck. And I was looking for a job, and so one day I stopped him and I asked him if I could work for him, and he said to me, "Can you drive?" And I said, "Yeah." But I was 14 years old and I didn't drive. I watched him. There was a thing on the floor called the gear shift. He gave me the job and he said to me, "Watch what I do." And 2 days later, I was driving the truck. And what we would do is we would furnish the ice in all the stores on Second Avenue and First Avenue in Manhattan. They had grocery stores and fish stores, and they didn't have any ice cube making machines back then, the bars. So we would deliver the ice to them, chop it up in the truck, put it in the window. They would put the fish on top of it, and then we'd move on to the next place and furnish the bars with ice cubes. It was pretty wild child. Right? He paid me $1.25 a day. I was like rich.
$1.25 a day, plus you were
Yeah,
driving the truck. How old were you?
14.
Okay. So,
He never asked me for my license.
okay, things were
I don't know if
different
I
back
should talk
then.
about that.
Let's listen. Hey, okay. So now I'm going to ask you one more question about the cover, and then we're going to play one of your songs and have you talk about it, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. So, all right. Boxer. You were a boxer?
I was an amateur boxer.
Yeah, tell everybody.
I got beat up one day.
Okay.
It's in the book. I
Yep.
don't want to get into too much of it.
Nope,
I want
it's
you
in
to
the
read
book,
it.
guys.
But I went to the Parks Department and I became a boxer, an amateur boxer. I had 11 fights and I won 10 of them. I lost the last one, but I won't tell you how or why until you get the book and read it. Thank you.
So, okay. So, page 52, guys. You were beat up. Okay. So, all right. So, before we get into any more of this, let's play one of your songs and then we're going to have you talk about it, okay?
Fine, thank you.
We have, how many songs do we have? 4? Yeah, we have 4. So, let's play one.
I'll pray for you night and day. I'll pray for you night and day. If I pray to the one above, he'll be sure to send me someone to love. He'll be sure to answer my plea and send me your love, who will be so close to me. She'll make my life a happy one, 'cause she'll belong to me. I'll be true in every way, 'cause I want her love to stay. If I pray to the one above, he'll be sure to send me your love. When I pray, I'll pray just for you. I'll pray for you, my love.
Beautiful. Tell us about that song.
I wrote that song when I was 13, 14 years old. And we were in Al Fredericks was a DJ at the time that was having a contest at the Hotel Empire on Broadway. And it was about a couple of hundred groups that would participate. And it was a week-long thing, all day and all night. It was a competition, and we went in and we sang 3 songs, and we were lucky enough out of all those groups to win the competition. And so in turn, we were awarded a night at A&R Studios to record a record. So we recorded a song called I Remember the Night. I don't even know who wrote it, but it was presented to us. And that's I'll Pray for You was the flip side. I can't believe how young we sounded.
You
Now
s-
I'm
yeah.
listening back.
Yeah.
And because of the sound that we had, it was released on N Records, and they hired us and put the record out thinking we were a black group. And I never met anyone or signed any contract or anything. The record just went out and it's still out there.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. So I'm going to ask you some questions about you growing up in the music industry. Who were some of your musical influences?
Well, my major group was the Flamingos,
Okay.
Terry Johnson and the boys. They were just fantastic. The Velours, Hop Tones, Willie Winfield was one of
Oh
my
my gosh.
favorites. Uh, I those are my very favorite, but there are so many others that
Yeah.
I just liked all of them. I
Yeah.
just a group harmony guy. I love harmony, and I was fortunate enough to be with a bunch of guys that knew how to sing harmony and made my life happier.
I got to meet Willie Winfield before he died, and Michael D'Amore brought me backstage at one of the concerts, and I'm sitting there next to him, and I got tears in my eyes, of course. And he says, "Sweetie, why do you have tears in your eyes?" I said, "Because I'm sitting next to you." And he hugged
Uh,
me, and I was just like, ah. So I get it.
Willie Willie Winfield had one of the greatest voices,
That's right.
and his songs were so much fun to do. The harp tones were just so much fun to do. Cedar, his keyboard player and arranger, they just had these chord structures that were like really, really cool. And we were invited to the East Coast Music Hall of Fame. Willie was getting an award and he was retiring, and we were offered a position to sing one of his songs. And Life is But a Dream was the one we chose, and it was a great experience. And I loved Willie, and I miss him.
That was one of the greatest songs of all time.
Yeah.
Wow. Beautiful. So, okay. So now let's see. I'm going to tell you page 13. Okay. So I love the writer poem. Okay. I love all your poems, but I picked certain ones. You know what I mean? But I love the writer poem. And Who Decides on page 23. Okay. Now, and page 24. Well, wait. Page 19, I believe. Someone to Care. And then page 24 made me cry because, oh, yeah, Someone to Care was page 24. And that made me cry. So your poetry is so amazing. And this might sound weird, but I haven't met too many men that write incredible poetry. Okay?
Well, your poetry is excellent. Your whole book is just fantastic. If anyone hasn't read it yet, they should.
Well,
It's
thank you.
enlightening. It's so enlightening. It's what you've accomplished. It's incredible. I give you so much credit. I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. But I just never read so many incredible poems from a man. And because a lot of my poetry friends, they're all female, and a lot of men that have done great poems, but they're more like hip hoppy. You know what I mean? And they're more like, spoken word. But yours are amazing poems. And I just never
Thank you.
realized that. So,
Thank you.
so tell me, all right, how old were you when you started writing poetry?
Well, I wrote I'll Pray for You when I was very young. I just, over the years, I would just come up with an idea and just write it down and then put it away. And then you'd pick it up another time and say, wow, I could change this around. And then you start looking at it and saying, well, maybe this could be different. Maybe this could be different. As I got older, I rewrote a lot of my things that I started when I was young. And I just kept on going over the years. And I have, I don't know, I just sit, watch TV and someone would say something and I would say, wow, that's a great idea. And I would pick up my iPad and write some words out and put it away. And the next day I look at it and say, okay, I can continue on with that. And that's how it went over the years. I think I have about 150, maybe 100 and 200 poems. I used 53 of them in my book. But I think on my second book, which is in process right now, I may put a book of poems out. I'm
I would
not
love
sure
that.
yet.
Oh my
Thank
gosh, I would love that. I want to read one of your poems, The Writer. Is that okay?
Sure.
We
Thank
want to give them a taste of what I'm talking about with you as a poet. All right? So, guys, he's incredible. Here we go. The Writer. Sometimes you sit down to write and nothing comes out. Your forehead wrinkles and you frown. You think and think, but still nothing comes. Maybe you spend too much time sitting down. Put on your sneakers and take a walk. Hope you see someone just to talk. Sometimes your brain works like a machine, churning out words like butter or cream. Other times it's like an empty chair, lots of space, but no one's there. Your head is overflowing with ideas. Maybe you'll use them somewhere else. Or maybe they'll just stay there, dormant on the shelf. You'll find the typos, the misspellings. You'll wonder if you spend too much time dwelling on a project only to throw it away, only to start again another day. Questions step through your mind. Do you write about what you think, or do you think about what you write? Think about it. That is so cool
thank you.
because I ask a lot of singers and songwriters, what comes first? You know, the words or the music? I always ask them that. And like you just kind of said something so cool and so profound at the end of that poem, right? So
Well,
cool.
I look at a song as uh, a story, or a poem put to music. And that's the way I look at it. That's how I write. If I write a song, it's a story, then it's music. I don't have a melody in my head as I'm writing. I'm just thinking, and sometimes I think good, and sometimes I throw it away.
That's because
You
you're
know
a
that
poet. Yeah.
you're a great poet, so you know that sometimes it comes out and sometimes it doesn't.
And you know what's funny? You're one of the very few singer songwriters who said that the story comes first because you are a poet. See? That's really cool. So now, before we play another song of yours, um, I want to ask you something. Okay. So there were no DWIs back then.
No,
This is first of all, I just loved everything that you talked about in your book. And when you referenced back then, because I grew up in Long Island City, New York, and I was born in 61, and my father moved us to New Jersey when I was 12 years old. So I've been here, I'm 64, I've been here ever since. And whenever I read stories about New York and when I read stories about back then, like with my parents growing up, I just love it. So I love everything about your book for so many reasons. Um, but you were talking about like the DW, and I thought, how is that even possible? So people were allowed to drink and drive?
yeah, unfortunately, at the time, there was no laws and no one thought about it, drinking and driving. I remember one night, I don't know if I put this in the book or not, but I was driving home with my wife and had a few,
Okay.
and I was pulled over by a policeman. And he said to me, "Were you drinking tonight?" I said, "Yes, I was. I'm a musician and I just got finished work." And who's that in the car with you? I said, "That's my wife, Fran." And he said, "Well, can you let her drive?" I said, "No, she doesn't have a license." And so he said, "Well, let her drive anyway." And he followed me from Smithtown all the way to Mastic Beach to make sure we got home safe.
That's amazing because you talk on page 195 about drunk driving.
Yeah,
So now, okay, so he followed you to make sure you were safe.
yeah.
Imagine how that would have went today.
I don't know if that would happen today. I
No,
think they would just put you in jail.
that
But
was beautiful.
back then, no one even thought about it. And I'm surprised. Unfortunately, a lot of major accidents and fatalities had to happen for that to become a law. But back then, we were all young and didn't think about a lot of those things. And that was part of life growing up.
That was amazing. That was an amazing story. Um, okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to play a second song and we're going to have you talk about the song and then we'll talk more about your book. Here we go.
Forever, my darling, my love will be true. Always and forever, I'll love just you. Just promise me, darling, your love in return. Make this fire in my soul forever burn. My heart's at your command, dear. Keep love and to hold. Making you happy is my desire. Keeping you is my goal. I'll forever love you all the rest of my days. I'll never part from you and your loving ways. My heart's at your command, dear, to keep love and to hold. Making you happy is my desire. Keeping you is my goal. I'll forever love you all the rest of my days. I'll never part from you and your loving ways.
Tell us about this beautiful song, what it means to you.
My brother Larry Chance, love him. I miss him so much.
Yeah.
And the sax part on that song was done by Joe Medio.
Yay, Joey.
The letter and the sax man, so important to me in my life. So happy I met them.
So am I.
And Larry, we went to Spain together and we just played a couple of jobs. Every time I did my own show, I would always have Larry on the show with me. And one night we sang that song, and I said that'd be a great thing to record. So we started recording it. Now the way you record today is I'll be in one studio and he could be in another studio, and they just did. He was with Warren Gratis
Yep.
from the Belmonts, who
Yep.
just passed away. Also
Yep.
a great friend of mine.
Rest in peace, Warren. Yep.
And he put his parts on, and we never finished the song. And after he passed away, I thought it was an honor to finish it for him and let everybody hear it. And so God rest you, rest your soul, Harry. I'm sorry, I'm fumbling.
Okay. It's okay. Yep,
God bless you, Larry Chance, my brother.
that's right. Amazing. That song is absolutely beautiful. When I first heard it, when you sent it to me, it brought tears to my eyes too. Amazing.
Thank you.
Uh, so, okay. So now, page 25. Okay, you talk about the East River. That brought back so many memories for me. Okay, growing up in Long Island City, New York. Um, my brother and my cousins used to go there all the time, and they were not allowed to. And whenever they came back home, somehow our parents knew, and they would get whacked and get grounded and blah, blah, blah. We didn't find out till many, many years later when we were young adults how that happened, how they always knew. My mom's family, American Italians, her uncles were in the mob, and they had their offices at the East River. And every time they saw the kids, they would call my mom and my aunt, keep them out of here, you know? So I just like smiled the whole time I was reading all your book, all your things about all these memories. It was absolutely amazing. Tell me your memories of the East River.
Well, the East River at one time was my swimming pool. Um, I was one of the younger guys in the neighborhood, and I watched all the older guys jumping off into the river and swimming downtown. And I said, one day I'm going to try that, and I did. And I only did it once, I think, maybe twice. But there were so many stories about the East River and how many cars and junk and people would throw their refrigerators in there and whatever the garbage that they didn't want, they get it down to the river somehow and throw it in there. And so I'd be curious to find out if anyone ever drained the whole East River, what would they find under there? It, it would be unbelievable. What a picture.
Wow. All right, so that's pretty cool. All right, so now, page 189, rock.
Did you ever swim in the East River?
No, no, no. I was a good girl as far as that because the girls were afraid to go to the East River with the boys.
Oh, okay.
So none of us girls ever did that. But I will tell you what I did do. So I had a juvenile delinquent card back in the day when I was 10 years old, a
A
JD card.
JD card.
Okay? I have the Long Island City police officers looking for it for me as a souvenir because the reason I got it was because I would beat up bullies. And they were
Okay, good for you.
10 times my size, and I used to get beat up every day and didn't care. So when the judge said to my dad, me and my brother still talk about this, Stan. We were standing in front of the judge. I was probably in fourth. Yeah, I was 10 years old, and my brother was 11. And the judge said, "Here's her JD card," and he looked at me and winked, because even he was proud of me. Why I got the JD card,
Wow.
you know.
That's a great story. Good
Yeah.
for you.
So, wow. All right, so now let's see. Oh, I love this. Page 10. Someone once referred to you as the most famous, unfamous person they ever met.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Tell everyone about that.
Annie Laurier is not with us any longer. He always said to me, he says, you've been on so many hit records and nobody knows who you are. You play in all these venues and still nobody knows who you are. I think you're the most famous, unfamous person I've ever met. And I thought that was pretty cool.
It is.
So I wrote that as an opening to my
I just
book.
love that. That is very cool. Let's see. I'm going to ask you about a couple more here.
I want to thank Mike Miller for his beautiful comments on the back of the book,
Yep.
and Joe Marioni for his preface. Joe was very instrumental in my life. If you buy the book, you'll read it and you'll see how important he was and still is in my life.
I love
And Mike
both of
too.
them.
And
Yes.
also, Al Contrara from the Mystics
Oh, come
wrote a
on.
nice little he was one of the guys that encouraged me to write the book also.
He's going to be
Uh,
watching. He already let me know that.
I picked his brain on when he wrote his book.
Oh,
mu- And he gave me a lot of information. And when I s- almost finished the book, I called him and I asked him if he would be happy to do me a favor and write something in my book. And he did. And I'm very grateful.
the Mystics, the Mob. Listen, he was one of the first that opened my eyes to what really went on back then.
Yeah.
I had, first of all, most fans, okay, they just look at everybody and think, oh my God, this is amazing. They're all happy. They love each other. They're singing. They made so much money. That's what we grew up thinking, right?
Yeah.
When he
yeah.
came live in studio for the first time with that book and I read it, I was like, what? So he was
Yeah.
the first one that really opened my eyes. He did something
Yeah.
really beautiful for me as well. I got to share this with you. So one of the Mystics was dying, and he's gone now. And Al said to me from the beginning, Jerry, I'm going to do my best before that happens to get you the final interview with all of us. So he gets it set up, okay? And he says, we don't know if he's going to be able to do it that morning, but he wants to. So we did it through RTR, and it was on the phone. And I had to get them all on like a four-way with me. So I said, well, let me call him first, because if he can't do it, then I don't have to hang up on all of you and start over again. And his wife got on the phone and said he wants to do it, Jerry. And they were crying when I got them on and they heard his voice. That was the most amazing, beautiful thing for me. So I was the person who they had the final interview of all four of them. It was beautiful. So Al Contrara, man, we love him. We love him.
The Mystics,
Yep.
Passions,
Yeah.
they were under the same management as the Joe Sattons, Jim
Oh.
Gribble.
Oh.
And we all grew up in the business, so we all know where we came from and how it was. And Al is very descriptive in his book
Beautiful.
about the things that went on back then.
Beautiful. So let's play another song. Producer, we have two left? Ruben, we have two left? Okay, babe. All right, play another song. Here we go.
To survive in peace and harmony, united and strong, we must have one people, one nation, one flag.
A piece of cloth with stars and stripes of red, white, and blue, and all the men and women who sacrificed for me and you, carried it through all the pain and over fields of glory throughout the world for all to see. This is their story. Raise it up, show it off, be proud for which it stands. Let it blow in the wind over this great land. A piece of cloth, it's our flag. A piece of cloth, it's our flag. Ever since it was created, this flag has seen it all. Stepped on and burned, still it wouldn't fall. And generations before us, and many more to come, will fly it high and protect this place that we call home. Stand it tall, fly it strong, for all the world to see. Let the world know the reason for a nation proud and free. It's our flag, a piece of cloth. It's our flag.
How many soldiers died? How many families cried? This is our flag.
God bless this land, a piece of cloth. It's our flag, a piece of cloth. Yes, it's our flag.
For which it stands.
Absolutely beautiful. Page 177, you talk about that song. So tell everyone about that song, what it means to you.
What that song means to me is I never had the opportunity to serve in the armed forces. I tried when I was 13. I begged my grandmother, and she had Marine Sergeant talk me out of it. Then when I was old enough to go in the service, there was a thing called the Sullivan Law where they wouldn't take two of the same family members to serve. And my brother was already in the Marine Corps, and so I never went in. So my way of giving back was to write a poem, and I wrote it on the 4th of July, 2012. I didn't write it as a song. I wrote it as a feeling, as a poem. And our guitar player from the El Satins, Joe Wyman, read it and said, you know what? I'd like to put some music to it. Is that okay with you? And I said, absolutely. And so we recorded it in my studio, and that's the Del Satin version of it. But in the next couple of weeks, there's a young country singer from Nashville. His name is Mike David, and he's going to be releasing the song as a country song. And so we're keeping our fingers crossed and hope that everyone listens to it and gets the message that I was trying to.
First off, I just got
express.
chills. If you send it to me, Doc G will play it on Hamilton Radio.
I will as soon as I
Okay.
get a master.
And we will play it. Ken
Thank
and
you.
Linda sent us a song a few years ago, and I promised. They called me up, they're screaming in the car and sent me a picture. We're listening to our song on Hamilton Radio, so we will do it.
Okay, I will make sure you get it. Thank you.
Okay, that's beautiful. So now, page 189, you talk about the Rocky movie. What did that mean to you? Why is it in your book?
The Rocky movie?
Yep, you talk about Rocky on page 189.
Rocky, Tangerine at the time was a 6-piece band that traveled the country and did 3 dance sets and a floor show. And Rocky was part of our floor show where I would dress up with boxing gloves and shorts and the shoes and the whole thing. I trained every day as a fighter. We filmed it. There was no videos back then, so we used what they call Super 8 film. And we would film me in the gym, boxing and sparring and running up and down the railroad tracks and stuff like that, drinking eggs. And then we'd do it as a floor show where I'd come out as Rocky with boxing gloves and my robe. And everyone went crazy for it. That was back in the 70s.
Yep.
And when I got the Del Satins back a couple of years ago, we did it at the Patchwork Theater. And from that point on, we were getting calls from everyone to do it. And so became a big part of our show. And Rocky is like a great story of the guy who made it but didn't make it. So he was another one, most famous, unfamous person
Okay.
until he became famous.
So, first of all, Rocky's probably my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
And Sylvester Stallone owes me a hello because I almost got killed because of him.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yes. Great story. First of all, I got to meet his brother way back at a fake ID. He would sing, Frank, the Frankster, he would sing in Trenton. So I got to interview him recently, and we were on air probably 2.5 hours because it was through COVID. So the producers had to do it through my home, and he was at home waiting for a delivery. So he was in his office. So we just hung out for like 2.5 hours, me and Frank Stallone. It was great. But his brother, and I told him, I said, listen, you owe me a hello from your brother. I was in Russia in the 80s for a month, and we weren't allowed to talk to Russian people. You weren't allowed to have their money, and I have their money in my scrapbook, and I also got to hang out with a Russian man and his interpreter. They put us in hotels, Stan, with only other foreigners. You weren't allowed to be around Russian people except your tour guide. She was best friends with the American tour guide. All right? So one day I'm getting a juice in the hotel, and a man with Russian money puts his hand over my shoulder to pay for my juice. And I'm like, okay. So I turn around, and his interpreter says he'd like to play you in chess because I had my little chess game with me. Because I carried it all over the world so I could play people, in chess all over the world. Anyway, long story short, what do you like? What do you like? We're playing in the lobby. He likes boxing. So Idiot says really loud, did you like the Rocky movie? I love the Rocky movie. So Idiot says, well, did you like Rocky, whatever it was, 3, 4, 5, with the Russian? And he says, no, they didn't allow it in our country. So Idiot says, that's because we beat the Russian. But if you give me your address, I'll send it to you. And the doorman comes at me with a gun. They get up, scream at him, so I knew they had to be someone important. He runs off. They said, we have to get you out of here. We go to get in the elevator. As it's closing, the doors slam open with 2 men with machine guns trying to pull me out of the elevator. Okay? They get in front of me again, scream in Russian, blah, blah, blah. We spent all night talking, the 3 of us in their suite in this hotel. He was the Russian godfather's grandson, the mafia's
Wow.
Okay? Yes, Anatoly. And listen, gave me Russian money. I have Russian money. It was amazing. So I tell Frankster, listen, I deserve a hello from your brother. I almost got shot because of Rocky.
Wow. Wow, that's a great story. I have a story. How much time do we have?
Come on, let's hear your story.
Back when we were filming it, we used a Super 8 camera, which is only small little, like 50-foot roll of film. And so we went to this girl's house who had an old refrigerator, and we filmed the scene of Rocky drinking the eggs. And I had to drink 3 eggs
Oh,
and then do it again because we needed a backup.
okay.
So we shot it, took the film, took the camera to the store the next day to get the film done. I opened the camera and there was no film in it. The guy that was shooting the film forgot to put it in the camera. So we had to go back the following night and do it again. So there was another 3 and 3, that's 6 more eggs. That's 12 eggs in 2 days. I made sure the film was in the camera and took it to the store myself. And the guy said, come back in a couple of days and it'll be filmed. It'll be ready. I went back, he calls me up and he says, they lost the film
What?
in the, where they developed the film, they lost it. But we'll give you a free roll of film. I said, gee, thanks again. We have to go back and do it again. So 3 times in 3, I had to drink 18 eggs in a week's
And
time.
raw. Oh, go ahead.
Raw. Yeah, and film it. And it was a crazy experience. Thank God I was running and training so I could use all that protein to get rid of it out of the body. But it's a true story. It was just crazy.
So
Makes me
now
laugh.
when you got the film the third time, it worked?
Yeah, it worked.
Okay.
It
Ew.
worked. It's all in the book. If you
I
read,
know, it's
I
in the
didn't
book.
explain it exactly the way I
Right,
should
it's in
have
the book.
because
But I have a
I'm not used to doing this.
but I have a question. How did the eggs taste?
You don't taste them; you just drink them down.
Oh, okay. Ew.
You crack them and put them in a
Yeah,
glass,
I
and you
can't
just,
imagine.
that's it. Gone.
Ew. Okay. So
Yeah.
now, all right, one more question before we play your final song. Let's see. Oh, so you talk about Frankie Lyman on page 205.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about that.
Frankie Lyman was another icon I
Yep.
liked. I met him once, but I grew up with his music, loved it. And I was working in a club, and he came in, introduced himself to me, and said, "I'm Frankie Lyman, and I'm looking for a job. Could you give me a job?" And I said, "I don't need another singer." He said, "No, no." He said, "I'll go to the cleaners and carry your clothes for you.
Oh,
I'll get coffee for you. I'll get whatever you want." And I felt so bad for him. Like, this is what happens to someone that was so big
yeah.
and it resolved down to this. It was sad. It was really. I had to put it in the book because it was a true story and it was very sad. And God rest his soul.
God rest his soul. I mean, we can't even imagine, right? And like the stories that you have in here are priceless.
Yeah.
They're priceless.
When you think back on them, it's a sad time. As it was happening, it didn't really matter that much until now. And when you look back
Right.
and you write about it, you say
Right.
that's something that you'll never experience again. Hopefully, when someone that of that stature
That's right.
has to come down to that level, and it's just very sad.
Heartbreaking. Phew. Okay, so producer. Okay, let's play our fourth song, and then we're gonna have Stan talk about that one.
Everything that I try to do, everywhere that I run to, I guess I'm a lonely soul. This is something I can't control. Everywhere he goes, teardrops follow me. Teardrops follow me. Everything that's in my heart, I feel. Teardrops follow me. Either disappears or I find out it's not real. I guess I'll wait and see just what the future has in store for me. Everywhere he goes, teardrops follow me. Teardrops follow me. Someone tell me what's wrong with me. This can't be true, it just can't be. When I go to bed, I can't sleep. But you can find me walking down lonely street. And let me tell you, like I said before, what do I do when I get to my front door? Look in the mirror and what do I see? Looks like the teardrops are following me. Everywhere he goes, teardrops follow me. Teardrops follow me. Teardrops follow me.
Tell us about this incredible song. Come on.
That song never hit the national charts.
I don't
That
get
was
it.
what they call a tri-state hit. It was New Jersey, New York, Connecticut. I guess Staten Island was part of New York.
Yep.
And if you were a doo-wop group, you learned that song. So many of my friends that were with their groups that said that was their favorite song. It was so much fun to do.
Oh.
And we had this routine that we would do on stage with it that Tommy Ferrara got from, he used to get all his routines from Paul Wilson from The Temptations.
Okay,
Uh, yeah, great memories. It would take me 2 weeks to tell you everything,
amazing.
but I appreciate you having me on today.
So
Thank you.
I'm gonna give the mic to you now, all right? Because I don't want you to get off and say, oh, I was supposed to say this, or I forgot to talk about this. I want to ask you one last question, and then I want to give you the mic to say anything you want. Let everybody know how to get your book. Let everyone know how to reach out to you if they want to hire you. Let everyone know how to get your music. But before you do all that, do you have a favorite chapter in your book?
Hmm. I have a few favorite chapters in my book,
Okay,
and they were in the beginning of the book with my
okay,
grandmother and my mother,
okay.
and growing up that way. When I look back on it, how differently things could have been, and that's the way it was.
Yep.
But
Okay.
when I wrote it, I really felt a lot of emotion from growing up like that. But at least I'm here to talk about it
That's
today, and
right.
I thank you for letting me do that.
Amazing. Thank you. I had emotion reading your book, so thank you. But tell everyone how to reach out to you, how to get your music, how to get your book, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I'm on Facebook. My name is Stan Zizka, and I say good morning to you every morning, and thank you for responding to me. I have a few hundred people. I think I have 2,000 followers. Um, and thank you for buying my book. You can buy it on Amazon.com. It's called Still Wandering, Stan Zizka. And thank you, Jerry, for buying it and reading it and giving me such great reviews on it.
Amazing. So,
And thank you all for being so supportive. I'm very lucky to have so many friends and so many fans in my life, and I love you all. Thank you.
well, I'm going to say my thank yous, but we're going to close. Producer, we're not going to play my song at the end. I'm going to read a poem. Okay? We'll close with the poem out of my book. But I want to say thank you, first of all, to you, Stan, for honoring me here on the Geri Petito Show on Hamilton Radio. Okay? You're amazing, and you know how I feel about you. And when I got to meet you, and you kissed one cheek, and your buddy kissed the other one, right? I mean, come on, Rick. Woo! And Stan, it was amazing. But I love
We
you.
didn't even talk about Rick Mango, my brother Rick Mango.
Wait a minute. Take a couple minutes and do that, please, because I love
Rick
him.
Mango is like he's like my brother.
Yep.
And his mother used to take him to come see me.
Okay.
And he used to sit there with a pencil and a paper, and he used to write things down of what I did and everything. And we became friends, and we're still friends. And God bless him. He's going through a few medical issues right now, but he's a strong guy, and I love you, buddy.
So hold on. So Rick Mango is the grandfather of Carter
Of
Rubin.
Oh, yeah.
He was the youngest male to win. Was it? It was The Voice, right? Was it? What did he won The Voice?
Yeah, he won The Voice.
The
Yeah.
Voice. Okay.
Carter Rubin.
Yep.
He
Carter
was
Rubin.
9 years old, and I had him open for the Del Satins at the Patchwork Theater. And I had him, the people loved him so much, I had him 2 or 3 years before he went, and he actually won The Voice.
That's right.
And he's an incredible singer with an incredible future. I love him like he's my grandson.
Yep.
And thank you, Rick, for introducing him to me.
And Rick Mango sang with Jay and the Americans.
Yes, he was with Jay and the Americans for many years. He had his own group, Ricky and the Vassals,
Yep.
and he was very successful in his life, and we're still very close friends.
Yep. You're family. You're not friends. You're family.
That's it.
So, Rick, you know I love you. Forget it, okay? And Rick actually was the one I got in touch with when Carter won. And I was like, Rick, please, please let me be the one to get the interview. Please, please, please. And he's like, you got it. He got in touch with
Yeah.
his daughter. She got in touch with The Voice. They gave the permission, and there it was.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that. Yes. I love that family
Good.
so much.
Yeah.
Okay. And then
Great,
I
great,
even
great people.
I interviewed Carter and his brother too, Jack. We had them on screen together as well for another interview. It was so beautiful. Oh, I just love what they're doing for autism and everything. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. So, everybody, please share this show. So, Mr. Stan Zizka, I love you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to close with this poem I wrote from my book. And the reason I like reading this poem when I do entertainers is because I'm going to get a lot of messages saying, Stan, oh my gosh, his songs are amazing. I wish I could sing like him. People forget that they also have gifts to offer. There are a lot of people out there that question their self-worth, right? They doubt themselves. They think they don't have any gifts or talents, and they do, because God has given everyone a talent. You have to figure out what it is, guys, and utilize it. And I always say this on every show. Imagine if we didn't have sanitation workers. What would we do? I mean, everyone has something to offer. So, guys, if that's you, listen to every word of this poem, okay? Utilizing gifts and talents. We are born with talents. We are born with drive, with different gifts to help us thrive. I knew early on I was born to draw and paint, to also write poetry, and to talk without restraint. Our gifts and talents should all be used. God's gift to us, not be abused. We can go far in life for sure, using our gifts to go on tour like this guy's doing. All our talents should be used to create ourselves and more, but then our job's to share them, to even up the score. You see, in life, what's needed is not just for ourselves. Once our gifts are mastered, take them off the shelves. A living we can make by spreading them around, not just for the money, but to spread a peaceful sound. So don't take for granted the gifts you're given. Go out and spread the joy. Our gifts are not to be held back for us to self-destroy. Put your efforts forth. Do not hesitate. All your talents, my friend, are never second rate. Never hold them back or you will surely die. Maybe not in body, but your soul will cry. Our gifts were made to share, our talents made to soar. Go through life enlightened and then you can roar. Be proud of who you are. Be happy you're alive. Once again, my friend, your gifts will help you thrive. By putting efforts forth, not keeping them at bay, your name, Stan Zizka, baby, will live forever, forever and a day. So go through life excited for what you sure can give to yourself and others is our reason to live. Our grave will be quite lonely, but our legacy lives on. So make sure people smile with the breaking dawn. And that's what you're doing, Stan. You are making so many people smile, sweetheart. I love you.
Thank you. And if you haven't, the people out there, if you haven't bought Jerry's book, I don't know why I'm feeling so nervous. You make me nervous?
Aw,
Do I? Do I look nervous?
nope.
I'm not used to this. If you haven't read or bought Cherry's book, please do so because you will get so much out of it and what she's done and accomplished in her life and her career and how she managed everything is extraordinary.
Oh,
I
thank
love you.
I love you too. And get his book as well, Still Wandering, because let me tell you, you won't be able to put it down, guys. There you go.
Thank you.
Okay, producer, it's a wrap.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, sweetheart.
I hope I wasn't too
You're amazing.